Hey guys, I wanted to take a few minutes this morning to put something together for kids, since obviously we can't meet together at church. We'll meet together here online. We have been talking about the Sermon on the Mount, which we know Matthew recorded as probably notes from a big long sermon that Jesus preached, maybe even the one he preached before feeding the 5,000. Either that or it's notes from sermons that Jesus preached and teachings that he did all throughout his ministry, and they're all just compiled together. We have been going through, and where do we find that? Matthew 5 through 7. Very good. Today we're going to be in Matthew 6, and we're going to take a piece out of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount that talks a lot about what's going on around us. And it talks a lot about fear, and that's what we're going to be looking at today, and how Jesus tells us to react when things are scary and when there's a lot of things that are unknown. So if you want to look at Matthew chapter 6, verse 25, my fault. This is why I tell you not to worry about everyday life, whether you have enough food and drink or enough clothes to wear. Isn't life more than food, and your body more than clothing? Look at the birds. They don't plant or harvest or store food in barns, for your heavenly Father feeds them. And aren't you far more valuable to Him than they are? Can all your worries add a single moment to your life? At a time like this, there's a lot of things that are unknown. And the truth is that can be very scary. But Jesus says, don't worry about it. And here's the cool part. It's easy for us not to worry because we have our parents to take care of us, or teachers or people around us who will look after us. When we say, we don't have any food, we're looking at a fridge, and the truth is we don't have any food we don't like. But Jesus was talking to people who really didn't have much in the way of food. They bought their food day to day, or they bought a bunch of one thing at a time and maybe a bunch of another thing at another time. So when he said don't worry about food, they really didn't have a whole lot of food. When he said don't worry about your clothing, they really didn't have a whole lot of clothing. When he said don't worry about toilet paper, you really couldn't find toilet paper in the store. Oh wait, no, Jesus didn't say that. That's okay. But he says don't worry about very real things that are probably worth worrying about. Things that we would say, no, Jesus, that's important. We should worry about that. But Jesus says, don't worry. I take care of the birds, and don't you think that they're more important than birds? Now, when Jesus said that, think about the Jews and their sacrifices. The smallest sacrifice someone could make was 2 birds. So when Jesus said, even the birds are taken care of, that was something that everybody understood. Oh, even something that's very lowly, something that's very not valuable, God takes care of them. And so He'll take care of us. So in these times, we can look out and know that God is going to take care of us, even though things are scary and things are unknown, and there's all sorts of stuff that's happening that's never happened before, certainly not in any of our lifetime. So we don't really have to worry as much as a lot of people around us, and maybe we feel like. Sure, there's unknowns, but Jesus says, don't worry about it. But Jesus, it's serious. Don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of you. If we look down at Matthew chapter 6, verses 31 and 32, he says, so don't worry about these things, saying, what will we eat? What will we drink? What will we wear? These things dominate the thoughts of unbelievers, but your heavenly Father already knows your needs. God makes us promises. He makes us promises to look after our needs. He makes us promises to provide for our needs. So we can know and we can have confidence that He's going to do that. It's not just, oh no, where's it going to come from? God says, people who don't believe in me worry about that because they don't know that I'm going to provide for them. But we as believers know that we're going to provide, that God is going to provide for us, that we are safe in His hands. So with everything going on, I encourage you, don't be afraid. Be wise. Make good decisions. Wash your hands. Don't be gross. But we don't have to be afraid, and we don't have to be consumed by fear. If your parents are around, you can tell them the church is still available. You can email the church if you have a need. We have access to a lot of resources, and the food pantry is still open if it comes to that. And so if there's anything that you need, feel free to contact me, or you can email the church. Tell your parents to watch the service. That's up on Facebook and on the church website. And hopefully we'll be back together soon. Until then, we'll try to do some of these videos and a little lesson for you guys so that you have something and you can keep learning about God and keep growing in your faith. And we'll talk to you when we talk to you, and we'll see you hopefully soon. God bless, guys.